Hey, he's cute.
He's vulgar and cheap.
He doesn't have a place, so I'm taking him back to ours.
Okay, no ties.
Not your face, honey.
An American writer in Rome is stalked and harassed by a serial killer who is murdering everyone associated with his work on his latest book. A bunch of beautiful women have been killed and the mystery is there to be solved.
But before we begin, please consider subscribing to our channel.
Peter is an American writer of horror novels whose books are popular in Europe. In Italy, to promote his latest work entitled Tenebrae, he is accompanied by his literary agent Bulmer and his adoring assistant Anne. He is unaware that he is also being followed by his ex-wife Jane. Immediately prior to Neil's arrival in Rome, a beautiful young shoplifter is brutally razor-tased to death by an unseen killer. The murderer sends Neil a letter informing him that his books have inspired him to go on a killing spree. Neil immediately contacts the police, who put detective in charge for the investigation along with the detective female partner Inspector Altieri. More killings occur. Tilde, a beautiful lesbian journalist, is murdered at their home along with her lover by an unseen killer who has a straight razor blade. Later, Maria, the teenage daughter of Neil's landlord, is bloodily hacked to death with an axe after stumbling into the killer's lair. Neil notices that TV interviewer Cristiano Beretti appears to have an unusually intense interest in the novelist's work. At night, Neil and his second assistant Gianna watch Beretti's house for suspicious activity. Neil decides to separate from Gianna in order to get a better view. Alone, Gianna watches in horror as an ex-carrying assassin brutally hacks Beretti to death, but he is unable to see the murderer's face. Gianna finds Neil unconscious on the lawn outside the open front door, claiming to have been knocked out from behind. The next day, the investigation of the crime scene reveals that Beretti was unhealthy obsessed with Neil's novels, and now that he's dead, it is believed that the killings will cease. However, Bulmer, who is having an affair with Jane, is stabbed to death while waiting for his lover in a public square. That evening, Gianna is haunted by the thought that he had seen but did not recognize something important at Beretti's house during the night of the interviewer's murder. He returns to the house and suddenly remembers what was so important. He had heard Beretti confessing to his unseen attacker, "I killed them all, I killed them all." Before Gianna can share this important detail with anyone, he is attacked from the back seat of his car and strangled to death by an unseen assassin. Meanwhile, Jane sits at her kitchen table when a figure with an axe leaps through her window, hacking off one of her arms. She spews gallons of blood over the kitchen walls before falling to the floor, the killer continuing to hack at her until she's dead. Neil is revealed to be the killer. Upon learning the details of Beretti's sadistic murder spree, Neil had suddenly been overwhelmed by the forgotten memory involving Neil's murder of a young woman who had sexually humiliated him when he was a youth in Rhode Island. The memory now constantly torments him and has inflamed the previously repressed lust for blood. Neil has become completely insane. Beretti was the killer of Tilde, Maria and all the other women by razor, but it was Neil who killed Beretti along with Bulmer, Gianna and Jane. When Inspector arrives at the house a few minutes after Jane's death, Neil kills her too. Later, Detective and Anna arrive at the house in the pouring rain, and when Neil sees that he cannot escape, he commits bloody suicide in front of them by slashing his neck with a straight razor.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know in the comment section below which movie you want us to recap next. As always, until the next time.